Okay, welcome. Pour a wine, or I always give an alternate as a alternate.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Alternative.
As a cup of tea or water, because
Water's good.
water's good, wine's better. Okay, let's get into a chat that we had. I think it was last week, and it went out again on 3 Sips. So shameless plug. Go subscribe to that. So every week it's just 3 points that we send out to you that ideally, provokes a different thought or behavior or inspires you in some way, or maybe gives you a laugh or something to chat with your girlfriends about. But one of the points that I sent out was from a conversation that we had, and we were talking about tax minimization. Awesome, such fun chat. Topic, it actually is.
Yeah.
When you figure out, and I think for both of us,
we're talking legal stuff.
Legal,
by the way, legal,
obviously, but creative. Obviously, we've left Australia, we've come over to Croatia, and it doesn't matter what you do. Whenever you leave a box that you're in, you learn some things outside of the box.
Yeah.
Right. And so we've started seeing different ways that business is done. Like handshake deals over the table in Croatia while they drink wine and eat meat.
Oh yeah, so
cool.
No signatures required.
No signatures.
It's like going back 20 years. Yeah.
They're like, what's social media?
Yeah.
But they have a private jet.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah, it's just, so I'm sure it was just opened our mind so much more.
Absolutely.
And so when you get around different people and environments, it produces different thoughts and a different way of thinking and behaving as well. And so we started speaking about tax, and I was asking you, because I always ask you for advice, but I'm like, okay, tax minimization. So you need to kind of still leverage the system. So if I try and minimize it as much as I can, because who wants to pay an arm and a leg in tax? Then you can't really leverage the loan that you want to get. So you kind of have to.
Yeah.
And I was in that spiral of thought, wasn't I?
So you were essentially saying that the amount you could borrow when you want to buy a property, for example, is directly proportional to the amount of tax you pay, because obviously the bank wants to see your tax return as proof of earnings, and maybe if you pay slips if you're an employee, but if you're self-employed or have your own business, they just care about your tax return. So you were like, well, if I minimize legally my tax, then I'm going to go to the bank and say, I earned $20,000 last year. How much
are you going to give me?
And they're going to laugh at you, right? Not a lot. Yeah. And so I think that the cool thing to do is to shift. Well, what if we have a completely different paradigm shift? And
ask a whole different question.
Yeah. Yes. What if we think, wait a minute, isn't it interesting that our tax return and the amount we can borrow is so intertwined? And should it be so intertwined? What if we thought outside of that space and we said, well, how about then spend a year learning what you need to learn so that you can create $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year, and in 2, 3, 5 years you will be able to pay for the thing that you were going to borrow from the bank and take 30 years to pay off. Which one makes more sense? Increase earnings, it's absolutely doable. Plenty of people are doing it. We teach people to do it all the time. And save up for 5 years, remember? It's like no one wants to do what Grandma said. Grandma said, don't buy it unless you have the cash. Didn't she?
And she probably had it under her mattress.
Yes. And so, what if we went back to that principle and said, well, you know what, I'm going to work harder, I'm going to save more, and I'm going to earn more, save more, and when I've got the cash, I'm going to go buy the property.
Buy it outright.
Yeah. And you were like, I actually really like that.
Why am I doing that?
So instead of tying yourself to the bank for 30 years and paying twice what the property is worth in interest, just pay what the property is worth, and
Bob's your uncle.
Exactly what I was going to say.